All right. Cool, everyone. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I think there's a lot to be said tonight following the chats that I've been seeing. So the floor is yours.
Sit down. And so
I'll start.
quick one. So from my side, I'm just gonna go. There's a lot of talk going around. There's a lot of names being mentioned, obviously here, there, and everywhere. There is also the clue that was on the announcement page that's out there. Some people who have mentioned names are focusing on the clue, which I think would be the relevant thing to do. Other people are focusing on instincts or experiences that they're having with other people. So I think everyone just needs to say what they feel about who, and I think we need to make a joint decision on then where we go with.
Is everyone here?
Okay, let me start this whole conversation. I think tonight I'm so fed up. Really, I'm truly fed up about people that something happened in our main chat, and no one seems to want to talk about it. No one seems to want to talk about what happened.
No, I think we must talk about it.
Kenzie was murdered in plain sight in front of our eyes, and it happened on the main chat. If you guys go back on Friday afternoon, just after 1 o'clock, there was a lot of chattering going on. But the main thing that stand out to me is the murder pic of Kenzie. There's a cup with a snake on it. And there was cups sharing, was a Harry Potter cups ×2 being said on the main chat. Is that not a big clue that I don't know where? I feel like the Traitors was given a task. It's either for you to say the word snake, or it was for you to say the word that was meant to be said. It was Slytherin.
Kenzie was the only one. I would have been dead because I was the first one to say
yes,
Slytherin. But
Kenzie was the only one that wasn't said, that didn't have a medallion. And she said it, and it all started with the following person. I'm not going to call the person now. Cat. You said that whole thing about Harry Potter. You started that whole conversation about who is scared of something. I feel like you are a traitor because you started that whole conversation, and you said that cup on that Facebook page. Why would Kenzie's dead pig had a cup with a snake on it? And that whole the whole spy thing that happened, the spy clue is all about Harry Potter. Yeah. So come clean. If you can't give us a reason as to why, then you're a traitor in my face.
And if I may just add on to what you've said over there as well, besides the Slytherin thing, if you go to conversations, there's a very specific picture of a snake head also posted with the word killer written on the bottom. So there's, some conversations speak louder than others, but one focuses a little bit more than others.
Exactly.
With the spy clue said serpent's head, and I was like, there was literally a snake's head picture shown, and it's unfortunate for the traitors. If that was the task, it was very obvious, and I think a lot of us saw it. So, and I agree, really, I think we should give Catherine the opportunity to also
defend.
There's a couple other things with the spy clue too, because I had heard people saying that Dylan Forey was also in on that Harry Potter conversation, and that entire first stanza to me really stood out, where it says "two slipped from the shadow into the sliver of light," and then also at the end where it says "a trace too bold, a mark too clear." To me, once I read that, I couldn't unsee it. I was like, oh my gosh, Kat and Dylan are probably the two, and the snake was the mark.
And it's also worth mentioning that Dylan did say the word Slytherin before Kenzie, and he didn't have the medallion, and he wasn't marked.
Are we talking about Dylan Brown or Dylan Forey?
Dylan Forey. Dylan F.
Dylan Furry for me is also, he took part in that whole conversation. He actually said the word, but no one catch on it. And then he made the word Slytherin scum. And then where Kenzie came in and said, "Did I just hear Slytherin scum?"
Slytherin scum, or something like this. Slytherin scum, something like that. But also when Kat said something about when she was saying something is dangerous or her husband went over something before, and Tony underneath said, "Why? What was it?" And then Dylan made a comment and said, "Oh, my friend keeps a fake snake outside his house to keep rats out of his house."
Correct, yes.
And also, I just want
a
to
conversation that just wasn't being dropped. You're right. It was just a theme that kept being brought up throughout the day.
It kind of went with it. Like it looked like absolute normal conversation until the clue was dropped. And then when you start going through, like going, oh, hold on, there's a lot more here.
I just have something to say regarding the Slytherin scum thing. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the Slytherin scum comment, and then Kinsey commented, she quoted that and she said, "Oh, I thought you said Slytherin cum." And then in real time, I think a few of us saw that comment in real time. Kat actually, her emoji reaction was a snake. And after the last murder Zoom, I went back because I wanted to see, oh, is that the murder in plain sight? And then she changed it to a laughing emoji. So, yeah, that's pretty sus. Did anyone else see that?
I did.
I heard about it.
Sorry, I'm busy reading Mira's comments also. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, Mira seems to be on the same track there. Really, I really feel sorry. I'm just quickly reading Mira's stuff, but really, I feel both Kat and Jennifer was in Messenger. To ask how are you?
Sorry, I hope you can hear me.
What do you mean, Mira? Is that Mira talk? Yeah, what do you mean?
I understand what Mira's
You
saying.
asked how I was, but really you have... Oh, because I wasn't feeling good? I never feel good when I wake up, Mira. I sleep till noon on weekends.
Just something on what Mira just said. Just something that Mira. Sorry, guys. I'm really. If I get murdered next time around, do know that's because I'm on to the traitors, and they're gonna murder me next time. I just want to feel. I want to say something, Jennifer. You also said something in that whole Slytherin thing, and you had a medallion.
Because I was I was actually worried. That's why I didn't want to address it. My dogs are named after Harry Potter, and I've been having a hard time chatting. So when you guys started talking about it, I was like, this is a perfect spot because I can tell you about my dogs. My dogs are Luna, Dobby. We have little moaning Myrtle and Tom Riddle. I thought it would be a good way after I was told I was quiet. But then nobody asked me my dog's name, so I was just like, I can't tell Mira. I'll message him later.
Can I maybe bring something up as well? It's basically the same. I'm going to go on to what has been called out with Catherine Dylan. I literally went to look. Yes, I'm the quiet one, but I am still looking what's going on in the game. And I have definitely seen the order of what that whole conversation was. Yes, Kat, you started it. So that's why we are all looking at you. You started bringing up the Harry Potter chat. And if the word was Slytherin, that was mentioned quite a few times by quite a few people. You were the first to mention it, then Dylan, then Jen, then Tony, and then Kinsey. So 5 people brought it up. Kinsey was the last one, unfortunately, to bring it up, but she also wasn't safe. Tony had a medallion, Jennifer had a medallion, so obviously they couldn't be murdered. But it seems that Dylan F is the only one that kind of also needs to answer as to why nothing happened to him. Why didn't he get killed when he repeated the word? And yes, Kat, we would like to know, why was this brought up in the first place?
Yeah, I don't really know what to say other than I'm a big Harry Potter nerd, so that's the only reason why I was talking about Harry Potter. In regards to this, yeah, I don't know. I don't have any qualms with Kinsey. I barely talked to her, but that doesn't mean I would have wanted her murdered.
Can I just also ask, the thing that happened in the previous banishment call, she did call you out. So, kind of feels like that also kind of needs to be looked at from kind of like a trader's point. If someone did call you out, yes, you kind of said your reasoning and gave your reason, but that obviously does make you look twice as for the fact that Kinsey called you out. You said you gave your reasoning. We did vote and all that, but now all of a sudden she's dead. So that also kind of makes me question why is she dead now. And also, sorry, another thing, the snake emoji picture that you posted, that was obviously the murder in plain sight, because I did see you wrote on it Killer and Alice Cooper. And Alice Cooper's famous song is Poison, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, why did you put that out? Why did you write there? Because that was edited. You can clearly see that was edited. Who wrote there? Killer and Alice Cooper.
It was just a random GIF. I don't know. So, but do what you got to do. I don't really have anything else to say.
So then maybe we should open the floor to Dylan F then, because as we said, he did say the Slytherin word also, and he's still here to live. He's still living to tell his tale. So maybe Dylan F can also just say if, or help us not have sus on you.
Am I the only one that didn't catch the message or what you guys are talking about?
I honestly didn't see the conversation when it happened.
I'm sitting here right now and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I saw it, but I didn't read into anything. I
saw the messages, but I was like, oh God.
I'm not a Harry Potter fan, so
sorry.
Yes, that did happen. That did happen, Quinn. But I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I think it's very funny that two people that a lot of people were communicating about is not showing themselves on camera. I think as us, yeah, and they're not giving us anything, explaining themselves. They're not defending themselves either. I think as faithfuls, I think we should just gather and have this conversation and control this conversation and decide who we want to banish of the two, because both of them are traitors, and that's how I feel about this.
Both of them are traitors, yes. And if you hear this whole thing about traitors, and if you go back and what Rian said, the shadows in the dark, they are the only two players here.
And the cameras in the dark.
Oh.
It just seemed too obvious because of sorry.
Yeah, they are dark, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Why aren't you guys defending yourselves?
That's my query. Like, Kat, I don't know you like this. I've played with you before, and you are, if you're like, you defend yourself. I know you to defend yourself, and we'd like you to defend yourself. I mean, I don't want to willy-nilly go and put your name down and you haven't defended yourself, because if you give me a good enough reason and I can see your reasoning, then I have to look at something else then.
Well, everybody's got their mind made up, so what's the point? I mean, if you get...
The point is that you have the opportunity to change their mind.
How by giving us also said, you said in the main chat, sorry everybody, sorry Kat, sorry to interrupt you. You said in the main chat that you had, and somebody was putting your name out there, so would you want to share that with us?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up as well. You seemed pretty adamant to mention something about something that you were very convicted about. So I would love to hear about that and not just see somebody, if they're faithful, just give up like this.
Well, I mean, everybody's against me, so there's really no point, right? I'm not the only one that was part of that conversation, but I'm gonna get blamed for it, so it is what it is.
Yeah, but the other person that is woke up while part of conversation is not wanting to say a word tonight, and that's Dylan Fruity.
Yeah, where are you, Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if you guys stop talking, I might be able to jump in. So, Irie, I am in the dark, sitting in my car outside my job on the Wi-Fi because my internet's not working. It disappeared after 5 o'clock. So I've been sitting in my car this entire call, obviously in the dark. Chat-wise. So I love Harry Potter. So when I saw there was a GIF sent on the group about Harry Potter, the kids had just left school, so I had nothing left to do for another hour and a half. So I started talking about Harry Potter, and I've got my flag in my class, so I love it. So when I get the chance, I'm going to talk about it. And then I don't remember who mentioned it, but I think my comment about my neighbor and his snake, his plastic snake, came after Kat gave the answer to her question about what her husband saw. So it wasn't before. And I think the last way that I can try and defend myself is I'm one of the worst traitors that has played the game. I was the very first traitor out in the season that I played. So I highly doubt that Rian will choose one of the worst traitors to play his game as another traitor in another season, especially after a 2-year hiatus.
Can I just also quickly elaborate? I'm going to bring this up, what I said on Friday night. The lying from Chris. Chris, you lied. And I think everybody needs to know that, you know what, if you are a liar, ek weet nie hoe om het, do it properly. If you want to lie, do it properly. But you lied and you thought that I'm not going to find it out. But I just want to know why after Friday night you've been very quiet in the main chat. So I think maybe tell us why you've been so quiet.
On Friday, I gave you my reasons. It wasn't an on-purpose lie. It was a lie because I was busy and I misspoke. So I'm not going to go into that again. I already went through all that over and over, and you took it in circles back then. So, and while I've been quiet in the chat, I've been busy talking. It's my turn.
I take it in?
Hold on, I'm
Did
talking.
I take it into circles?
It's my turn. It's my turn. It's my turn. You asked me a question. I'm answering a question. So, I've been quiet because I've been busy, and I've always been quiet. I haven't been sitting there chatting like everyone else. I don't sit there posting memes. I don't sit there posting endless photos. I chat when I can. I've been busy. I've been casting all weekend. I cast yesterday. I was supposed to finish at 3. I finished at 6.
You've been asking me for selfies in your personal
I've not spoken to you since you went off at me.
Come talk shit.
I'm not. Okay, Quinn, I don't need to deal with you. It's like I'm done with you. You can do whatever you want, put whatever you like down.
Because I caught you
everyone
out.
Everyone can know this.
Because
everyone
you are
knows
a fucking
if
liar.
You take me out,
you
if
are
you take
a
me
liar.
Out and I say I'm faithful, everyone knows where to look.
You are
it starts with a Q, or maybe it starts with an A. I don't know. AI. Anyway, I'm out.
So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but I think that the main chat has actually been generally quite quiet this weekend. I think maybe that murder in plain sight just shook us a little bit. I haven't seen a lot of action on the main chat except for today it started. So I don't know if you can say that I don't know if that's an accusation that Chris needs to defend, because we all need to defend that action.
In honest opinion, my honest opinion is like, we're talking about a serious matter here. We need to vote someone out, and everybody lies in this game. The game is about lying to get further in the game. So if Chris did lie, maybe, but sometimes you also lie. We don't know who's a faithful and who's a traitor in this game. So I think we need to go back to the topic that was raised up in the first beginning of this whole Zoom thing, because we need to vote.
If I can just
Yeah.
quickly ask something else, just a random one, and I just wanna, it's like I'm saying, it's within the same topic. The one of the other people who was also kind of involved in reacting that conversation, Tony, was yourself, where you had answered her and said, this is where you're at, or you asked who was it or what it was. I did write it down, but whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
She said, guess what it was. And then I
Guess
said, oh
what it
shit,
was,
what
and
was it?
you were asking what it was or something like that. Okay, so to keep fair and to keep everybody who was in that bit of conversation, I'm going to ask you as well. How do you feel about the vote going towards Catherine or Dylan at the moment? And my question to you is, if you want to possibly give us an indication of what else is making you suspicious other than this, just in case, because hiding in plain sight, I'm just worried that everything else is hiding in plain sight while we're all focusing on this as well. Just as a rough, just whatever. If you have maybe two people that you're currently suspicious of that you could share with us as well, so we can have a bit of insight on that, that would be great too.
For me, it has been Kat and Dylan since Friday. I've had conversations with people, yeah, they can nod their heads now since Friday already. Like as soon as we saw the murder in place out, I was like, snake, it's done. So I've had the conversation and that's who I'm on. Kat's tonight for me, Dylan's the next night. And
thank you very much.
And so you said why else? No, it's shame. And I love Kat to bits, and I also just want to like pull the plaster off because she's the nicest person ever, and I don't think she likes being a traitor, and that's why she's been so quiet because she's usually way more chatty in this game. She's on phone calls, she's video calls, whatever, and nothing. Even about like I think Wednesday or so, I messaged her. I was like, "You're very quiet. Is everything okay?" And already then my spidey senses were actually activated, if I'm honest. And then when this murder in plain sight happened, I was like, it's my girl Kat, sorry.
Thank you.
No problems.
Anyone else?
Does anyone else want to bring anything to the table?
I mean, if I did start speaking, I would just reiterate what everyone's already said. So I don't think there's any point in really talking about it again. I'm also pretty much on the Cat and Dylan train, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm on the same page there, and unfortunately, like it doesn't seem like there's much being given to prove otherwise. So I would really like to open the floor up to both of them again to see if there is anything that they can say to change our minds, because obviously all of this is very like circumstantial evidence. And if there's something else that we should be looking at, please tell us. Like, surely you have other theories then, or were you just caught and now you've given up?
No, it's not necessarily about giving up. It's that the stack is like everything's stacked against me. I got my husband just came home. I may spend time with him, but like do what you got to do. But I do think that you need to look elsewhere also, because if I am what everybody thinks I am, I'm not working alone.
Kat, you said that somebody had put your name out there. Are you willing to share that person who put your name out there? Because they could be trying to throw you under the bus.
I think the first person that came to me about my name was Dylan, and said it's smart if we don't go for each other, but like honestly, if it's between me and him, I'll vote Dylan.
And that was Dylan F?
Yeah.
Dylan F, can you possibly say who the people were that were voting for Kat, or who came to you with Kat's name? And the reason I'm saying this is, and I'm curious on this, is because in the beginning, when my name came up, and we all agreed there was obviously obvious reason that it came up, there was like suspicion to it. Dylan F had actually gone to one or two other people and said my name had come up to him, but he couldn't say where it came up from. So this is why this is relevant to me then.
And Naomi, I'll actually just add to that because somebody also told me, let's just say person A said, Dylan F told me that Tony's gunning hard for Naomi. And I was like, what? I spoke about Naomi maybe to 3 people about the lack of presence and about like some inconsistencies maybe, but how did Dylan F figure that Tony's pushing? Because I don't speak to it. I have not spoken to Dylan F one-on-one at all in this game.
So I'm just also putting it out there. Let's just look at the big picture as well. Ask the questions. So Dylan, if you'd like to elaborate, you're welcome.
Maybe he's lost like signal completely or something.
Like the internet issues.
Is he saying anything on the chats or anything? Can anybody see on Messenger?
No.
Nothing.
So that's where my inclination is going towards tonight. And if I'm right about him, Kat, there's a very good possibility that we are then right about you, obviously, because then you're exactly as you were saying. If we vote for you and you end up being a traitor, then you would not be working alone, and it would work vice versa. But I'm more drawn to my personal opinion, voting for Dylan tonight.
Reversing Naomi's question, is there anyone that wants to own up to telling Dylan F about Kat's name? Because I know I didn't speak to Dylan F. Okay, worth the shot. A question to ask.
Well, I know for a fact that I'm not voting for Dylan F tonight.
I just want to also interject there. I heard this discussion, and I'm not going to say from which side, but I feel like we obviously know who the traitor is and who did the kill. But I also heard this whole Dylan story leading up to the vote, which makes me feel like why you want to go for Dylan if the obvious reasons is there that Kat did the kill, because he solely did.
Because remember, it might be Kat's kill, but the traitors are a team.
But I think Dylan hasn't showed any suspicion to the game as yet. So why is his name brought up?
His name is brought up because he was part of the conversation of Slytherin where the main suspicion was, which was based on the clue given to us on the other chat.
Yeah.
And he was the only one who wasn't
But
safe.
yet, it was just a chat on the main chat.
Yeah. And it was told that the kill was in plain sight. And according to Taylor, who was willing to share the information from a previous game, we had witnessed a murder in plain sight. It was done on the chat, and there was a mark made.
Okay.
If I can explain from my perspective, I'm sorry, Naj, your hand was up, so you go for it.
That's fine, sorry.
You sure? Just to explain from my side, from what I saw and why I feel like this implicates both of them is in this conversation, I was trying to look for a pattern, and the pattern that I saw is 3 snake emojis, 3 snake references, and in that process also Dylan had the 3 honey badger emojis. Now I know that is completely circumstantial, but all of that all led up to a pattern of like 3s every single time. And I went through and through and through and I tried to see what it was, and it was this repetitive pattern that popped up like we've all mentioned throughout the day. So if there were 2 people striking, then my only argument could lead in that direction. The only other person that was on my radar for looking at that, I have already spoken to and already cleared the air that my thought about that was wrong. So the 2 people that cannot seem to explain themselves, my thoughts stay there.
Sorry, I just wanted to answer Riri, Rian. You were asking why are we also looking at Dylan F when we know the clear kill was made by Kat. I think it was also in the announcement from the spy. It was said that there were 2 people. So that's why everyone's looking at 2 people. And like Daniel just said now, the 2 people that keep coming up was Dylan F and Kat together. Just the way they were chatting, the emojis, the way they brought the conversation back to certain topics like the snake, even when we stopped talking about Harry Potter. So yeah, that's why Dylan came into the conversation. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Sorry, Tony. There was also the cup. Did you see the photos of the cup with the snake on it?
Yes.
Harry Potter. So Cat saw that the cat and that thing. So for me, it's like just similarities to Keynes' dead pig. You can continue, Tony. Sorry.
No, I was just actually also thinking of another thing. I mean, I know they're both potheads. That's what I call Potter people, sorry, potheads. And I've just never seen Kat and Dylan interact with each other so much. Like they've never been so engaged with each other. You know, they're quite strangers to each other. I get that they're both potheads, so maybe they were enjoying each other's company there, but it seemed odd looking back at it now. 2 people that barely engaged with each other were like besties on Friday. I'm coughing.
Okay, I just want to correct that. It's Potterhead, not potheads. That's a whole entirely different meaning. But just to
I don't know, there's Slytherin and Gryffindors and I don't know what else, bumblebees or whatever. Harry Potter.
So Gryffindors.
I honestly think that we are going off the rails here from the whole topic or what we I don't know.
When we're actually talking about the topic the whole time, I think you are lost.
I think your sights are set.
I must say that this has been a very entertaining morning for me. So thank you all for this entertaining morning that I have to start my day.
So Quinn, if I can ask you then, if we had to go between Kat and Dylan, who would you vote for and why?
I wouldn't vote for any of them because they're not on my radar.
Okay.
I'm going
Does
to
anybody
say,
else have input?
I'm going to be honest, brutally honest. Chris is on my radar. I'm going to vote for him tonight because I don't, bitch, I'm going to call you out because you are a fucking liar and I'm going to vote for you tonight.
No, Chris. Tibis. You are completely being rude now. I'm going to call you out. You are being a rude
don't
person.
talk to each other.
We are playing a game together. If other people's going to watch the Zoom call, please, personal life, out the game. But this is a game.
We're not
And I love this game a lot. But rudeness, I don't tolerate.
But Rian, this is not personal. This is not personal.
No, your language.
It's coming across as personal.
It's your language, Quinn.
I think it can sound a bit personal, so.
Okay.
I think Dylan F just sent a message in main chat. If y'all want to take a look at that. But for the Zoom, I'm just going to read it out for him. So police came to ask him why he was at school so late at night, and then the neighbors called, so he had to leave the Wi-Fi.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the time for talk is over. So I see there's only about a minute left on the call. So I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes. Please just send me the name of the person you're going to be voting for to me in a DM. Write that name on a piece of paper. And when we come back, please just make sure your name is already written down. It's all held to your chest. And when I call your name, you will then just reveal your name and as well as the reason for your vote. Then I'll see you here back shortly. Okay, bye.
Nice.